Welcome to the Six Figure Business Mastery Podcast, where every week Kirsten and Jeannie dive into the essential topics to fuel your business growth. From copywriting to course creation, mindset to video marketing, they've got you covered. Tune in for expert guest interviews on all things marketing and business, and learn how to work on your business, not just in it. So, get ready to unlock your business potential and take it to the next level.
So I'm going to introduce us. I'm Kirsten, and that's Jeannie with Six Figure Business Coaching. Jeannie, would you like to introduce our guest today?
I would. We're really excited to have Michelle Dye from Dynamic Media. She helps coaches, course creators, and membership owners explode their email list and make more sales using quiz funnels. I'm really excited to talk more about this. So today our topic is how to get perfect leads and make more sales. And we're going to dive into the magic of quizzes and how you can use them to grow your email list with ideal clients. So welcome, Michelle. We're happy to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. I can't wait to talk about one of my favorite topics.
Yeah, I was just saying earlier that we have a client who is putting a quiz together, and that she gave me some of the data on it, like how well it converts, which I didn't know. And she said, think about all of the old magazines, like your Cosmo magazine and your 17 magazine back in the day. They all had quizzes in them. And it really made me think, yeah, they did. So do you want to tell us what like an online quiz is? Maybe we need to start there first.
Sure. Yeah, we can start with that. Yeah, you bring up an excellent point about magazines, and think about BuzzFeed too. They really popularized the online quiz. Which Disney princess are you? Fun little quizzes like that. But the type of quizzes we're going to be talking about today are really more to help you understand your customers better and prospects, but also to help your potential customers understand maybe where they're at with their problem or challenge that they're facing, and you can start bridging the gap on how you can potentially help them solve that problem. So it's such a powerful tool to be able to start really connecting with the right people, attracting the right people to your business, and then ultimately converting for a sale. So a quiz funnel, or just you might hear the term quizzes, is going to be an online way for you to help attract your ideal customer, help them identify or diagnose or point out a problem, help them learn a little bit more about themselves. That's one of the reasons why quizzes are so high converting, is because people want to know more about themselves. If you look at the type of quizzes you talked about in the magazines or the ones on BuzzFeed that have been really popular, it's really more self-centered type of information, that self-discovery aspect. And so they take the quiz and then they can opt into your email list. And when they do, then they get their results. And with your results, you can either put an offer in right away and make one to them, or you can start nurturing and lead them into an email sequence all on autopilot, and then start to work to make the close. So it's a great tool for busy business owners as well. It takes a lot of work up front to design and test the quiz, but once you figure it out and get it working, it can just run 24/7 and you don't have to lift a finger. So I really liked that aspect myself as a solopreneur. Like, I needed something where I could automate more of my marketing strategies in my business.
Yeah, we love that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for years to come. That's the magic when it comes to marketing your business. Awesome.
Absolutely.
So I think we were going to talk about like the 3 reasons why business owners should consider using quizzes.
So the first one that I want to talk about is really going back to learning more about your ideal customers, and then being able to take that information and tailor your marketing messages. So when you think about online marketing right now, think about all the noise essentially that's out there. Think about the overflowing email inboxes. There are some people out there that are like team inbox zero. I am not one of them. I think I have 10,000 emails in my email. I like to save them all and refer back to them. I have one email address where all my promo and sales emails go for multiple reasons. One, as a consumer, but then 2, as a marketer who likes to study sales emails. They all go right into that inbox. So there's a lot of noise out there, and there's a lot of people essentially just saying the same thing. And they might be selling you something that you don't really want or need. But when you have a quiz and you're learning more about your ideal customer and where they're at in their journey and how you can potentially help them where they're at and meet them where they are, then quizzes become a really powerful tool to be able to then have those tailored messages. And again, when you have the right software in place, I can tailor messages down to specific answers in the quiz. I have the ability to map that and connect it to my email software and then put them on that specific sequence. So as an example, one of my popular quizzes is which marketing career path is right for you. So there's 4 different career paths. And so if one path is coming clear that they're identifying as they want to be a freelancer and potentially have their own business one day doing marketing, that's putting them in an email sequence where I start talking about, freelancing advice and then offering support, offering them my membership and different things like that. So the market research piece and being able to connect those offers are really powerful. There's also the element of just really understanding your market as a whole, whether or not they opt into the quiz or if they end up leaving your list for whatever reason, you still have data to specific questions that really help you understand different trends that are maybe emerging in your niche. And so for me personally, that's been really helpful. With one of my businesses, I do a lot of leadership and management consulting and career coaching for women. And I'm able to really start identifying some of the common patterns I'm seeing with women who are feeling stuck in their careers. And something like imposter syndrome will come up over and over again, or really struggling with communicating their value on a resume. And then now I know, okay, this is where I can spend some more time investing in some of my own marketing content that I'm putting out. So that's one primary reason why I love quizzes, is regardless of whether or not it converts like you want it to, or they buy the thing you're offering them, you're still getting very valuable data for very inexpensive cost once you build the quiz. And if I'm running ads on Facebook to a quiz, I know I can get leads for under 60 cents per lead. I have before. I know people that have gotten it down to 10 cents a lead. The more time you spend optimizing your quizzes, the lower your costs can be. And they also can perform well organically. If you're not doing a lot of Facebook advertising and digital ad spend, that curiosity that people have about learning about themselves, it can make it attractive for them to click on the quiz. My marketing career path quiz that's really popular, I only ran ads to it once for a week, but I found I was getting better results with that organically, just having conversations with my ideal client in different Facebook groups or things I was sharing on LinkedIn. So the data aspect is really important, especially when you think about all the privacy issues that have emerged in the past few years. The mail privacy protection from Apple that really screwed up a lot of things for marketers, and the idea of first-party data becoming king, the data that you own, that is available to you using quizzes.
This is so interesting because I feel like we talk a lot about doing ICA calls, ideal client avatar calls. So before you launch a product or even build a product, to actually have a lot of conversations with people that you think are your ideal client. Because I think that's one of the biggest mistakes business owners make, is you think that you know exactly what your consumer wants. And the reality is we don't always know. And if we do know, we don't always know the wording that they would use that would sell them on buying it, like the benefits that they would see for themselves. So I feel like that's something like we really encourage our clients to do, and we've done multiple times throughout our business, because again, it is interesting to continue to get that data. But I had never really thought about quizzes as an extension of your ICA calls. Once you have done those in person, got to know people, had them answer a bunch of questions for you and really dig deeper on why they felt those ways, I didn't really think about continuing to use the quizzes. So that is brilliant. And I love data. Data tells us what to do next, right?
Absolutely. And I think too, just with, like you said, like understanding your ICAs a little bit more, the quizzes are really helpful for that because not only can you learn that, but then you can also start positioning your product and service in front of them in the right way. So I think it was Ray Edwards who talks about sell them what they want, but give them what they need. You can do the same thing with quizzes and have that be the bridge. When I work with people with their resume, they don't really know what they need to fix. They might know something's wrong, but they don't really know what's wrong. So I'm working on developing a quiz that is going to allow me to tell them what's wrong with their resume without me reading it. And then it's all on autopilot. But then they're going to see, oh, these are the things that I need. It's not because my resume design isn't pretty enough. It's because of XYZ. And so I think that is such a powerful thing to be able to leverage quizzes to use.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I think that I'm sure you work with your clients, you have to reverse engineer and think about what information you want from them, what's going to be valuable to you, and then also be valuable to them to know. So I would imagine that's a little tricky.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of practice, but you hit the nail on the head. You have to begin with the end in mind. You have to think about what journey do you want to take this prospect on and get them to convert to your client. What do you want to be helping with? And then build it backwards, because you're going to have to educate them to a certain extent on what they're going to need or want from you. And so you have to be strategic with the type of questions that you ask. And then you have to map all the results so you can match up, like, what kind of information are they going to be getting based on their answers. And that can get really complicated. And so you'll want to pick like easier ways to do that, especially when you're just starting in the beginning. And it all goes back to what's your quiz hook of pulling them in with the what Disney princess are you? That's a quiz hook. And then what kind of questions are you asking from there?
Yeah, I think mine would say you're not a Disney princess at all. Okay, so that's the first reason I'm already sold. So I can't imagine what 2 and 3 are going to be. So this is exciting. Thank you.
Yeah. That's the first one. I always like to talk about data. But then, as I mentioned, with helping them identify what problem they're experiencing or understanding the pain that they're in and then giving them the solution, that's the next powerful thing about quizzes. And how I've done that, I gave you the example of which marketing career path is right for you. It was a question that I was seeing over and over again in Facebook groups that I'm in or moderating. And it's just women being really unsure, like they have a marketing degree or they don't have a marketing degree and they want to be in marketing, but they're used to doing all the things. They've worn 11 million different hats in their job. And they're like, do I need to become a subject matter expert, or what should I be doing? What has the most growth potential? All the things, like all these questions running around in their head. And so I was able to come up with a series of really short questions. I think that quiz might be like 9 or 10 questions. It's not very long, but it's enough to help me understand their interests and some of their goals. And then here's the report. Here's the actionable step that you can do with getting down that right career quiz path. And I've done other quizzes too. Is it time to quit your job? That was one of my most popular quizzes that I started during the pandemic because I was seeing my target audience ask these questions all the time. Should I quit my job? Should I leave this toxic work culture, or should I go find a remote job so I can help teach my kid at home, since we're having to homeschool now, and all of those different things. And so again, using that kind of problem solving aspect of a quiz and helping them prepare to take that next right step with you to then be ready for your services. So for the quiz that I use, is it time to quit your job? That helped them to prepare if they want to stay or go. And then whether they wanted to stay or go, I can help them either way, improve their work situation. I can help them make an exit plan, or I can help them make things better at their office and focus on getting a promotion so they don't necessarily have to leave. But then their problem is solved of whatever challenges that they were facing. So that's another reason why I like quizzes, is just getting them like primed up to do business with you.
Yeah, I love that. You're taking them on a journey. In some cases you're leading them in, are you going this direction or are you going that direction? And that way I know how to speak to you, how to support you.
Yeah, and you can do all kinds of things. If you, let's say, you're an affiliate for a computer like software or SaaS product that you really love, you could design a quiz where the result is just this is the product, this is the solution that you need, right? So it's not overly complicated. And now they're signing up with your code that you've built into the results. So you can lead people in a very specific direction, or you can lead them to choices. It's really up to you and what your end game is with doing the quiz.
It's funny because when you're talking about software, one of the first things that came to mind for me, because we switched our software about a year and a half now. Is that right, Jeannie? About a year and a half?
It's been a little bit longer than that. Yeah.
But before we made the switch, because when you're moving a massive amount of funnels and you've got email lists that are tagged and all the things, we had a conversation about, do we feel like we could stay with the software for the next decade, right? That's the question we're asking ourselves, right? And so we really spent a lot of time like learning about the company. Would they be there? Are they constantly going to improve the software? And so I was thinking about if I were going to sell a software, that would be one of my questions. Are you interested in changing software on a regular basis because you want to chase a deal or the newest greatest? Are you looking for a foundational software to build your business on long term?
Exactly.
Because again, I think there's a lot of people that just love changing softwares, and that's fine.
Yeah.
If that's what they like doing, that's great. But for us, we just know we want to have software that works really well, that we know how to use really well. So if there's anything wrong, because with software, there's always something that goes wrong, then we can troubleshoot it or have a team member troubleshoot it really quickly and resolve it. So yeah, it's interesting as you're starting to think about this. I'm making all kinds of notes from this conversation already.
And you bring up a great point too, that you can also use this quiz to disqualify people as well, right? If you created that software quiz and you were able to determine from the questions you were asking, okay, this person is a deal seeker and they're going to just want to hop around to the next great thing, the next cheap thing, next founder's rate or whatever, then they're not the person that you need to be investing time in. And that's fine. You collected some valuable data, but then you can decide, do I have anything in my resource box or offers that would be good for this person? Or do I need to just exit them off my list? And that's a decision that you can make. And you may decide, hey, this person maybe needs a little bit more education. Like maybe I should put them through an educational email sequence and help them see like what they're thinking is not the right approach.
Yeah, the software is not the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like, a lot of times I think, especially when it comes to using online tools, whether it's a local business or an online business, the first thing is it's easier to blame it on the tool, right? It's the tool's fault that you're not getting the better results. And so that would be a good education point for that conversation. Okay, so I love this. So problems and pain. What's the third reason?
The third reason is really being able to put the right offer in front of the right people at the right time. And because of the data that you're collecting, and even sometimes in the quiz results itself, you can experiment and present an offer. Like it doesn't necessarily have to lead to a freebie. Like it can lead to something paid. I know people that have done successful quiz funnels selling coaching services or their copies of their book. I'm building a new quiz right now where I'm targeting mid-career professionals with help on their resume and really helping them get like that next, like maybe director or VP or C-suite role. And so the way I'm designing my quiz is there's multiple product outcomes of how I could help them depending on their answers. So if I deduct that from this quiz, like their resume is a hot mess and it needs a lot of work, I'm going to funnel them to my on-demand workshop. If I see that, okay, they've got the basics covered, but they really need to know how to communicate their value, then I'm going to funnel them to my one-on-one workshop. The other option is if they've got all the pieces, but it's really the format of their resume that is off, because especially in the marketing world, like there's a lot of people that think they need to make a Canva resume, and that's not what they need to do. then it funnels them to just my template that they can buy. And so I'm really excited to start experimenting with that funnel. And you can, depending on your quiz software, you can implement the Facebook pixel to your funnel, and then you can retarget people as well. That's something that I will be doing with this next quiz that I'm building as I learn more about Facebook ads and get really comfortable with that. When I get the right amount of traffic to it, then we'll run retargeting based on their answers and then put that offer again in front of them if they don't convert on the quiz.
Yeah, it can almost help you decide like what you want to offer, because you're leading people in different directions, aren't you? You know, we work together on this, here's where we work together on that, here's where you just work on your own to this.
Yeah. And it's all boils down to the questions that you're asking and really what are you wanting to maybe do more of in your business? And I would love more on-demand workshop sales, right? That doesn't require hardly any of my time. And I'm able to get good results for people. I've gotten great feedback on some of my on-demand workshops that I've done. And I'm looking at quizzes and testing out like some of my price points for my on-demand workshops. They're meant to be impulse buys and just pull people into my world without having to do like the traditional webinar freebie thing. I'd rather put out offers that are impulse buys. And after doing that with my ebook and seeing like all these new people come onto my list, but two, make an immediate purchase with me with a small price point, I'm like, yeah, this is like the direction I need to be going in. And so I want to leverage quizzes to just do that on a 24/7 cycle.
Very smart. This has been awesome. I'm dying to know, can we get you back? Because the next conversation I'd like to have would be about the automation tools and how to get more into that back end. So we'd love to have you back as a guest to go over that if possible. Sure. But I do know you have a free audio session coming up soon. You want to tell everybody a little bit about that in case they want to get in touch with you before we actually have you back on?
Sure. If you go to quizfunnelpodcast.com, you can sign in to be the first to notice when be notified when the audio lesson drops. And it's going to be about like the 6 essential things you need to build a quiz funnel. So in there, I talk about a little bit about the process and some of the tech stack, because if you're overwhelmed by tech, sometimes these quiz funnels can get a little tricky for you, but you also need to understand like the limitations at some of the quiz funnel softwares that are out there. I've been using a particular software the entire time. I was able to get in on a beta version of one, and I have like unlimited everything, right? But when you see some of these other softwares on there, you need to know, is that number of, okay, you can only have 1,000 responses. Is that going to work for your business? And so I talk a little bit about that in the lesson and understanding and making sure that you have software that natively speaks to each other so that you're not incurring extra expense from Zaps. And so my quiz software communicates directly with my email service provider, and all the answers are tagged if I want them to be. The results are tagged to deliver all of the email sequences and things like that. And it makes it really easy. So yeah, we can definitely dive into all of that in our next little learning experience.
This has been absolutely fantastic. I'm so excited because this is a topic that I never really thought about until our client brought it up recently about doing a quiz, and then Jeannie invited you to be here. Yeah, it's something maybe we should look into, Miss Jeannie.
I think you might be right there, Miss Kirsten.
Although I will have to tell you, Jeannie is not a Zapier fan. We'll have to get her to overcome her hatred of Zapier to be able to integrate it, but we can probably talk her into it.
Yeah, and I don't have to use Zaps. You might be able to find the right tech stack that you don't even need them. Because I'm not going to lie, Jeannie, I understand that. Like the thought of Zaps and having to set that up just intimidates me a little bit because I've never had to do anything like that. And I'm a pretty tech savvy person, and I'm sure at some point I'm going to need to use Zaps. But for everything that I've been able to build in my business so far, I haven't had to use it, which has been nice.
My biggest problem with it is that they drop and you never know.
Oh,
just stop. The connection just stops. Yeah. And you all of a sudden, I haven't seen anyone coming in through that lead magnet, and you look and the Zap was turned off. didn't do that. So
Yeah, it's like when some of the social media schedulers disconnect from your social.
Yes, I
Which is
know,
why I
right?
don't use them anymore.
Michelle, thank you so much for being here. We really
Welcome.
appreciate it.
It was fun.
yeah, thank you so much, Michelle. We can't wait to have you back.
Yeah, I can't wait.
That's great. All right. Take care and goodbye, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to the Six Figure Business Mastery Podcast. If you enjoyed listening to this episode and you are ready to leverage video marketing on all online platforms, or maybe even start your own video podcast, then you need to check out the Done For You and Done With You program at themarketingvaadvantage.com and take your business to the next level.